This is the Marshall Middleton II. It's one of the best sounding and best looking Bluetooth speakers that I've tested in a while. But that design also comes with one major drawback that may make you think twice about where you bring it and if it's worth buying, so let's get into it. I've been using this speaker for the past few weeks, moving it around from different parts of my house and the backyard, and of course taking it out on the go. It builds off the original Middleton designs, but improves on sound quality, battery life, and Bluetooth range. As you can tell, the Middleton II carries over the same rock and roll DNA that you find across Marshall's other amp-inspired lineup, including the big Woburn 3 behind me, and even the Marshall monitors, which yes, I'm using to monitor this video. Now, as far as features go, you still have the 3.5mm jack on the back, which is great if you can't or don't want to use Bluetooth. But Bluetooth actually gets a really solid upgrade with version 5.3 this year, which means noticeably longer range and better power efficiency compared to the 5.1 version that we had on the original Middleton. Marshall claims you can now get up to about 200 feet away before the connection drops out. Realistically, I'm not sure who actually needs to be that far away from their speaker, but it does mean you can wander around from room to room, or if you're at a park, for example, you're gonna get fewer dropouts. Compared to the original Middleton, it's just a few millimeters bigger here and there, but you've still got that same classic Marshall aesthetic, including the metal grille, brass accents, and the faux leather wrap around the top and sides. Also, just like the original, it still doubles as a power bank with a one USB-C port on the back, which means one less charger I need to bring to make sure my phone doesn't die on a long day. That said, Marshall, I don't know. I think you could have included a second USB-C port. That way you could maybe both power this at the same time as charging another device, or maybe charge two devices at the same time. I think that's one way you could really lean into this really being a portable power bank, but of course that's gonna mean taking a big hit to your runtime. Speaking of runtime, battery life gets a boost. It's now up to 30 hours compared to the 20 on the original. Marshall doesn't really specify what testing condition they're using, but in my own use testing this for the past few weeks, I've only had to charge this twice, and that's at different volume levels, using it for a few hours here and there, again, taking in all those trips. I never really had to worry about battery life with this, and I think that's the important thing. Will you be getting 30 hours with this? Probably not. Maybe you're gonna get closer to 20 hours of real world use, but still, for a speaker this portable and that gets this loud, that's still impressive. As for colors, Marshall's keeping the same cream and black options that we had from the previous year. Personally, I love the cream color because it pops and has that nice clean look. But yeah, it does show dirt a lot faster if you're planning to use this outside, so it may not hold up as well as the black, if that's what you're thinking. But like other Marshall gear, this doesn't feel cheap at all. It stands out from the sea of black rubberized speakers out there. And what I really like about it is that it has this retro vibe that makes it feel more like a piece of art rather than just a speaker. Between the multifunction knob at the top and the metal grille, and of course that textured finish, but there's a flip side to that fancy design. And again, that's gonna be the crux of this review. I've noticed that this faux leather wrap can actually sometimes lift up a little bit on the corners. Yeah, just like that. On one hand, I do think it makes the speaker a little bit more repairable, and that's all part of Marshall's sustainability and replaceable parts. But on the other hand, I think if you were to take this to a beach, for example, it's an easy way for sand, water, and other debris to get trapped under there without you knowing. It's still IP67 rated just like the original, so it can handle water and dust and even a dunk for a short period of time. But it doesn't make it as rugged as other outdoor first, take it anywhere speakers like the JBL Extreme, for example. But just sticking with design for a little bit, one thing Marshall did improve is their handle. It used to be like this rubberized feel that didn't really age well, especially in the sun. This nylon strap, on the other hand, feels a little bit more durable. It feels like it's gonna hold up over time. It's also a bit on the heavier side of what you'd call portable. It weighs about 3.9 pounds. Definitely manageable, but you will feel it, especially if you're packing it in a bag. I did take this to the park a few times, and while it does fit inside my gym bag, alongside my clothes, laptop, and other stuff, it was a tight fit and every extra ounce was felt on my shoulder. But if I'm taking this to like a picnic, a backyard party, yeah, I'm not gonna mind the extra weight then. Taking this on a hike though, probably not. Of course, we can't talk about speakers without getting into sound quality, so the Middleton II does step things up. They bumped up the woofer amps from 20 watts to 30 watts each, and the max volume jumps from 87 decibels to about 91 decibels. What that means is at full blast, the Middleton can get seriously loud. It could definitely shake my shelves, the desk, but importantly, even cranked up all the way where a lot of speakers tend to struggle, there's basically no distortion here. Everything stays clear without that harsh edge that you sometimes get from smaller speakers trying too hard to sound big. This is also still using Marshall's true stereophonic tech, which is basically their fancy way of saying that it throws audio from all directions, not just in front of you. I mostly use this to listen to rock and lo-fi, and it handles both really well. There's this really nice low-end presence without ever feeling too boomy. And if I am switching genres and I don't want to shake up the whole apartment, especially at night, it has the handy controls at the top for bass and treble that you can just dial in really quickly without needing to jump into an app to make those changes. But one other new feature with the new Middleton II, built-in microphone. So you're hearing all the audio right now being picked up from the Middleton as I walk around. And even though I don't generally need to have a speaker with a built-in microphone, it is nice to have when your hands are tied up. Maybe you're at a barbecue, you're grilling, and you just can't use your hands. Yeah, it's nice to have. So as I walk around a little bit further away from the speaker, you can hear just how much of the audio is being picked up. Again, the idea is you'd be a little bit more hands-free, a little bit further away. So this is the audio as I'm about, what is that, like 4.5 feet, walking in a little bit closer. And hi, I'm right in front of the speaker right now. And as I get closer, obviously I think it's going to be picked up a little bit better. But that gives you an idea how it sounds. So if having a built-in microphone in your Bluetooth speaker is a priority, the Middleton II gets it done. Okay, pricing. At $329.99, the Middleton II is firmly in that premium territory of speakers. At this price, you're looking at competition from JBL Extreme 3s, the Sony XG300, and while a lot of those options are going to be more rugged and probably better to take to the beach, they're not going to be quite as refined, definitely not nice looking, and they're not going to have that classic sound signature that I think you get from Marshall and not a lot of other speakers. If you've already got the original Middleton and it's working fine, you don't need to rush out and get this new upgrade. But if you're deciding between the original Middleton, which is only about $10 cheaper now, I think this is a no-brainer. It's got better loudness, better battery life, better Bluetooth, and you know what, why not? Yes, the better strap too. So I think unless the original Middleton gets another 50 or 60 off its price, you're better off sticking with a new one. So the Middleton II has the price and looks to make it one of the best portable speakers that you can buy right now. It definitely gets loud enough for smaller parties, backyard get-togethers, or just moving from room to room, all while looking really good. But in my time using this just doesn't feel as rugged as other speakers like the JBL Extreme or other outdoor first speakers that pretty much feel indestructible. The Middleton II rightfully is a more luxury speaker. It's the kind of thing that turns heads and looks amazing no matter where you put it, whether it's on your shelf, your backyard, or you take it on the go. If you've got any questions about this small, not so small speaker, let me know in the comments down below, and until the next one, catch you later.